game it, get next level with their swaps. But in any case, he's going to take up. I think he does recognize he's going into the 2v1 as he takes a quick sojourn over there. Oh, nope. I saw him standing around the wolf camp. I thought he was actually clearing that, but no, he's heading down to the lane.
Yeah, he actually just poked his head over there to see if the enemies are going to be trying to invade on a blue buff, which, as the ward in the river brush does dictate, they are going to see that MeyeA and Lautemortis are making the way over there. At the same time, though, this signals to Sicko Scott that it's A-OK to invade the opposite side, and even though they got their own red buffs, looks like the jungle is going to be trading away the enemy blue buffs here, as it's pretty much just a trade situation.
So, Orianna's gonna be 1-2v1. Here's the flash play!
Ooh, flash play from MeyeA. There was a ward in the brush and anything, but GoldenGlue goes down. Aggressive play for CompLexity in the early game right here. Picks him up first blood for Chuuper.
GoldenGlue
Actually, it goes to
flash.
MeyeA.
Yeah, MeyeA is the one who cleaned that up, and MeyeA was the one who sees the opportunity. GoldenGlue didn't have a flash available to him. MeyeA just sees that opportunity. Flash play is so strong, and it's something that people weren't doing for the longest time on Thresh. And now they've kind of recognized both the upfront burst potential of it, from getting the flay down and then also getting the bonus to the passive, the auto attack right away, but then also setting up the guaranteed death sentence after. Obviously, it's not going to happen when he's level 1, but he doesn't even need it. Picks up first blood.
And because of this one, Corky's able to kind of sit in that mid lane by himself. He has both his summoners available. He has Valkyrie picked up. And MeyeA, he's able to play a little pressure relief on this top tower as it's barely taking a scratch in that mid lane tower, already taking some poke from the side of CompLexity. So early aggressive wandering Thresh strategy right now, letting Lautemortis continue through his entire jungle, taking Sicko Scott away from his for a little bit, and already out of the get-go, CompLexity have started things up. Although the flip side, we see Infinite trying to get a little bit back. Richerich does wind up getting some damage down to Prowley, and had it not been for that tower shot, Prowley's mantra on his W would have stolen a lot of that life back up.
You see Prowley right now. He's got that flash taken away. He's going to be doing all right on that one. As GoldenGlue is just being absolutely terrorized right now. MeyeA lands another death sentence.
Yeah, and that's just going to be free poke and a phosphorus bomb to the face on Orianna. Sicko Scott comes around. That'll be away from the cocoons. Not going to have it connect. MeyeA does have that death sentence still on a couple seconds of cooldown, so no pulling for that one. But still, landing a death sentence doesn't mean you have to go in, but it does mean Corky gets all that free harass on Orianna.
So Richerich down the bottom lane doing what he can. What do you think about this Renekton versus Karma matchup here?
I think it's like
Richerich goes to the trade.
Yeah, I think it's like nothing I've ever seen before, as Richerich does force a lot of mana out of Prowley, but Prowley might actually be able to force a kill. There's a stun going down at the same time. Lautemortis wind up going down in the mid lane to an ignite, and it's a double kill right there in the bottom, as it is going to be Renekton and Karma trading kills with one another. I guess it's actually like more of a double homicide rather than a double kill.
So we see Lautemortis does go down the mid lane. That's going to give a blue buff over to GoldenGlue, and that's going to be kind of the first bright, shining moment of the game thus far for him. After giving up that first blood, for not having his flash, he's finally going to have the cooldown reduction and mana regeneration that he can just spam out and try to clear the wave as best he can. MeyeA, he also, going for that aggressive play, he won't have a flash as well. So that's a red flag over for Sicko Scott. Like, okay, they made a great aggressive play, they got a kill, but that's fine. Now I can punish what that aggression means now.
Yeah, now having Sicko Scott, normally in a 2v1 situation, the jungle would rotate to the solo lane and give a little bit of support. However, this time around, it's in the mid lane, and Sicko Scott being able to apply pressure there means you can also kind of go and put that pressure on CompLexity early on. Like you said, that blue buff on Orianna, although it does give her some sustain, makes her a primary target for MeyeA. Hook City going down right here. One more auto attack from Chuuper, and all of a sudden, it's a blue buff Corky that's going to be deadly in the mid lane.
Did we talk at all about how MeyeA is kind of a godly Thresh? Did that come up? I felt like that come up.
I think it might have come up right there, but why don't you remind us of how good MeyeA is on Thresh?
Yeah, well, I mean, we could just point at all these death sentences he's got going on here. I mean, it's like the minor mind games that go into landing a death sentence on a champion that has the ability to haste himself. GoldenGlue used the command distance as soon as he saw MeyeA queuing that up. Probably he's going to get ganked down the bottom lane.
Yeah, probably is going to wind up having Sicko Scott jump on him. There's the venomous bite going off. He does actually get the root down onto Sicko Scott. Going into tower range, dodges the cocoon shot. Richerich takes a tower shot, popping the speed up from the shield right there, trying to give pursuit. But in the mid lane, the tower goes down, and GoldenGlue, just coming back to lane, immediately has to retreat from that one. Bottom lane, there's a flash stun and a flash cocoon going out. 2 summoner spells burned, but Prowley finally goes down.
And yeah, I mean, they're doing what they can to just try to make anything happen across the map. They're still down 1,000 gold right now. Most of that is going to be in the tower that just fell down. But, I mean, you have to start looking out for what CompLexity are going to do once the laning phase starts to fall. I mean, Prowley's going to be able to throw the speed onto Lautemortis. Lautemortis is going to be able to get great initiations down. And Chuuper still hasn't hit level 6 yet, which is where Corky starts to become just absolutely terrifying. I can't even body drop up in the top lane. They're trying to answer that tower back. but MegaZero's been doing everything he can to keep the tower HP as high as possible.
Yeah, and that's one thing that Rumble has in a solo lane matchup against a duo lane is that Flame Spitter. If he's pushed under tower, he can just use that freely and clear those waves. NACL moving back from the top position to where he originally started as an AD carry player, looks to be somewhat comfortable on Varus. While he doesn't necessarily have the kills to back up like Chuuper has gotten, he's definitely got a decent amount of CS right now, 56 compared to the 47 of Corky, who's now rotated up here. So we'll see how they go in the head-to-head. That's in this over the wall, doesn't connect, but Chuuper wound up Valkyrieing over anyway. Kenny does have to use his flash to get away from that one. All he wanted to do was recall Malphus. They just won't let him.
And he still won't let him. He throws out yet another ward. He's going to pull Chuuper in. Doesn't land the flash play.
No, but they do land the kill there. Phosphorus Bomb seals the deal. Now they're on the body drop. MeyeA, there's the death sentence. Has the minion, gets it in there. One rocket and another hit from MeyeA. There's another kill for CompLexity's duo lane. 2 kills for none in that circumstance, and they are on point today.
Bodydrop thought that he had minion protection. He thought that he was behind that creep and that death sentence wasn't going to land, so he didn't even burn his flash. By the time it did land, he had no opportunity to get himself back out of that one. Chuuper has picked up yet another kill. He still has both summoners available for him. MeyeA has been making everything happen.
MeyeA just making the plays right here. They lost that bottom tower, but they're going to be the ones putting pressure on the top tower, and that looks like it's going to go down before Bodydrop and NACL can even get back to this one. That mid lane map pressure they created by taking on that tower extremely early has been super effective for Lautemortis to move around the map, but it looks like probably not going to get caught. They burned the command shockwave onto him. He's going to wind up going down. So much focus going down onto poor Karma. However, it is still going to be a kill, and it goes to Sicko Scott.
They grab that up, and it looks like they want to try to take a dragon out of this one. GoldenGlue, very, very low on health, has no mana whatsoever. This would be a very, very risky tank as Rumble is in the area, and Rumble's ultimate is just fantastic in dragon fights. So while they did get a kill, they're not going to be able to pick up an objective for it. And CompLexity, I mean, they're leading 1 kill, but more importantly, they're also up a tower. And if they were the ones who grabbed that kill in the mid lane, you have to wonder if they would be able to exert enough pressure to actually grab themselves that dragon and continue rolling the snowball.
Well, one thing, like we said, that mid tower already down on the map in favor of CompLexity gives them so much mobility and so much freedom to move around this map. The infinite odds, like you said, low HP bars and not exactly wanting to tempt the equalizer for MegaZero. They're not able to capitalize on this little bit of momentum they've been able to get themselves. Granted, its score is still only 5-4, so they've been keeping up pretty much with what CompLexity's MeyeA and Chuuper have been doing. But let's not forget, a lot of those kills are going on to the AD carry, who jumps in right there on the Sicko Scott. Lantern goes down, MeyeA with a play in the brush, and the kill's going to go over to Chuuper. That's a killing spree for Corky, who we said is going to have to provide a lot of power for this competition for CompLexity.
And right now, Chuuper, I mean, he's doing extremely well for himself. He's moving, he's well on his way towards finishing up the Trinity Force. He's got the Shane, he's got the Phage. I mean, he's getting 3 kills and 2 assists now for Chuuper. As CompLexity, I mean, their rotations have just been spot on. I mean, they've been able to make plays all across the map. That time, MeyeA didn't even have to be the one to initiate that one. As we see, probably chunking people down. MegaZero's here from the side.
Yeah, the equalizer goes down. NACL and Bodydrop both going to fall. A kill picked up for each solo laner on CompLexity. So they've now joined the scoreboard. Welcome, guys, to this kill fest here. 8-4 is the score in favor of CompLexity. And like you said, their movement on the map is key. They are doing it spectacularly right now. And in poor infinite odds, they just can't react in time to where CompLexity is. CompLexity is making proactive movements on the map. And infinite odds, they have to respond. Sicko Scott repels into a minion. Gonna try to land a cocoon onto MeyeA, does want it connecting. Richerich goes in, there's the command shockwave, but the box goes down. Turnaround for CompLexity is not quite there, so they are going to respond with a kill of their own after losing 2.
MeyeA is finally going to be punished for his aggression. The second time of not having his flash for going for a flash play does get him killed, as the absolutely max range cocoon from Sicko Scott seeks him out through the brush, lands, and they are able to pick up that kill. But I mean, they burned a lot for that. GoldenGlue doesn't have his ult right now for that, and if MegaZero lands that second slow, he does. They're not gonna be able to chase that one down. I thought he might be made to pay for it.
Yeah, and that's one thing that CompLexity does have over infinite odds. Although IO is staying in the game, kill-wise, kind of, if they're going 2-for-1 trades, or they're at least getting something back onto CompLexity, they are exerting a lot of it in this case. And what we saw coming out of it last time was, unfortunately, they weren't able to contest the Dragon that I thought that we were going to be going for in Champion Select. They have a lot of AoE teamfight engagement. You have a Sona, Varus, Orianna combo, and so far the Orianna Shockwave has never been up to have Varus and Sona in the same area with her.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's one thing that we should definitely point out. The team fight phase is going to alter the face of the game very, very drastically. The question is just going to be, what's that going to end up entailing? Like, if they get a bunch of AoE damage down, it probably is on point with a mantra'd up Inspire. He could just straight up shield basically the entire initiation coming out from this side. Maybe not the entirety of it, because it turns out Command Shockwave does a little bit of damage. But it's, this is, I'll be really interested to see whose team fight ends up working out better. They've got Lautemortis who can go in with his ultimate with the Assault and Battery, and then they can immediately follow it up with the Equalizer. And that's, I mean, follow-up is so crucial on a Vi, and the Equalizer is one of the best follow-ups in the game because there's, based on how you position it, it serves such a multitude of roles. It can either be a very, very high DPS option for teams who have the lockdown to keep people in one certain area, and if MeyeA is able to get in there and throw the box down as well, they might be able to make that happen. It serves to divide teams in half, or just to cut off an escape route as well, which can be used if Lautemortis is able to catch people in a bad position and they decide they don't want to take the fight. MegaZero can actually be the one to force them. No, you have to fight. I don't care how bad your positioning is. In fact, I kind of like it.
Yeah, and that Equalizer, it's also something that synergizes extremely well with the Vi Ultimate. You touched upon it right there, but it can literally, just like the Vi Ultimate paves way for a perfect RA Charm to land through onto the same target, locking them up in a CC chain, the red carpet of Rumble's Equalizer just devastates those team fights. And much like you said, having the ability to have a follow-up with a Chuuper burst coming out from his nigh-completed Trinity Force, actually when he goes back, he should have enough money to finish that one, so it's just waiting on him to recall and wind up picking that one up for himself. There's going to be a ton of burst potential coming in. You also have to imagine that with the poke coming in from Prolly's Karma and those rockets from Corky, CompLexity, they're going to be looking to engage after the team has been whittled down, and that Equalizer will be kind of that seal the deal kill on them. Now you're on the flip side looking at Infinite Odds and their hypothetical team fight engagement. They have a Renekton and an Elise that can literally jump down into the back lines and get that perfect command shockwave they're looking for. The Varus ultimate, being it is a very hard skill shot to hit with that Chain of Corruption, having the multiple forms to set that up with the crescendo and command shockwave, you gotta think that next dragon fight, Infinite Odds, even if they are behind in gold, even if they're downing kills and a little bit of map pressure, they are still going to be a scary force.
So a little bit of a pause coming out here. Hopefully this won't persist for too long. I'm trying to look around and see. Maybe we should take a second and look at the item builds that are coming out across the map here. See, Richerich is going for the first item, Spirit Visage. He's trying to pair that up with some Mercury Treads as well, as he finds himself mostly 1v1 against MegaZero throughout the beginning part of this game. Well, maybe not mostly. A lot against Prolly as well. Basically, he's up against a double AP composition, so, okay, first item, Spirit Visage, makes sense. Merc Treads, I'm tired of getting rooted by Karma. I'm tired of getting slowed by the tasers from coming out from Rumble. I like that. It's a good pickup there. But you kind of have to wonder, given that Renekton's primary goal in the early game is to be a strong lane bully, and his primary goal in the late game is to be kind of either a backline diver or a frontline tank that just kind of keeps people away from the rest of his team while the carries deal damage. How effective is he going to be having to rush that Spirit Visage first, and the fact that Corky is already well on his way to getting out of control?
Well, one thing that is a saving grace for Renekton with that Spirit Visage acquisition is the fact that Corky in the later game and in the team fight phase, he's a lot of poke, which is going to be primarily magic damage coming out from his Missile Barrage. It deals a lot of damage, packs a punch, and procs that Sheen, but the upfront damage is going to be poking with magic. So in the late game, you will see Corky kind of being this more 60-40 kind of AD carry where he can poke with magic and then burst in afterwards and pick up kills with the Trinity Force, but still, mitigating as much damage as possible for Renekton, it's going to be something that he wants to look for, but he is going to have to be going for that armor backup immediately afterwards. Otherwise, Corky's execution, it's going to absolutely devastate him. On the flip side, let's take a look at this AD carries, because we know Corky's going to go for that Trinity Force, and he's going to be going for that upfront burst of damage. But Varus, on the other hand, he does have a CS advantage. Granted, he's down in global gold and doesn't nearly have, well, he doesn't have any kills compared to Chuuper right now, but he's going for that Bloodthirster first build, which makes Varus a very dangerous siege target.
Trying to look here. I'm kind of wondering what Prolly's going to end up building into as well. Obviously, he's got the Chalice, so can kind of expect a first item Athene's Unholy Grail. Similar situation coming out here from GoldenGlue. GoldenGlue has gone double mana items, as he's picked up a Chalice and a Tear of the Goddess. I recognize, obviously, with the pause overlay that we have up, you guys cannot see the items right now, but I promise you we're not telling you lies. If Tom says anything that isn't exactly what's on the screen, I promise I'll get all over him about it. I trust the guy, But,
hey,
you know,
we're on
I'm here to
pause.
look out for you folks. But here's the resume, so I can stop talking about this now.
Yeah, it looked like Kenny unfortunately had a little bit of an issue, and he wound up coming back, he said, about 5 minutes, and it was about 5 minutes into the pause. So, it does wind up working out for them, as now we see in the mid lane, probably looked like he might have been getting jumped on by Orianna and Elise, but they are going to wind up backing away after he throws out that tether, and Elise does not want to get locked down anywhere near a tower from Complexity's side. So, looks like right now, everybody's just going to want to, we see Chuuper going back, he's going to purchase that Trinity Force, like we said. He had enough for that, and he actually picks up a pink ward as well. Multiple members of Complexity, actually. We see one for Lautemortis, and actually none on MeyeA, but he does have a Sight Stone, so Vision definitely going to be a primary objective for them now that they've taken down almost all those outer towers.
Ooh, Chuuper. Continuing to farm up. Doing some good work down here. Oh, MegaZero just barely flashing away from that cocoon. Did not want to get initiated upon by Sicko Scott because the follow-up chain of corruption would almost have certainly been there. And MegaZero had, no intention of dying anytime soon.
No, we talk about it. It's a hard skill shot to hit, but if your target is standing still, it becomes so much easier. So the flash has been burned from MegaZero. He's not going to have that one up for a couple of minutes, and that's a minor victory if you're in the camp of infinite odds. However, there is still a larger threat at hand, which is, of course, this Chuuper Corky, who's kind of just been split pushing off in this bottom lane, pretty much unhindered, as he is going to wind up using that Trinity Force to just proc his way down on that already low HP tower, and unfortunately Richerich not able to do anything. Complexity has some cavalry in the area to back him up anyway. They're going to clear out some wards in the jungle and take down their third tower of the game.
Yeah, see, MeyeA is he's pressing that vision game right now. Picks up the Oracles, just roaming around. He's got the brown boots, he's got the Sight Stone. This is mostly all he needs, as Thresh isn't necessarily a champion that scales off of items as much as some other supports like, say, Zyra. He's just, as long as he maybe gets boots of mobility and a Ruby Sightstone, he's pretty much fine with whatever else. Just going to grab as many oracles and wards as he can and just continue to control the map. That's really where Thresh shines, is making those kinds of picks happen and setting up big plays for his team.
Well, Thresh, he's waiting in that brush, knows there's no wards there, but he, Chuuper, and Lautemortis are now going to be a three-man tower siege squad as they continue to wail away on the second tier 2 tower, hooking on the Richerich in tower range. Doesn't even matter. There is the slam dunk. Richerich has to pop the dominance to get away. Chuuper goes in with the equalizer underneath his Valkyrie. Looks impressive. Flashes back to the lantern. Clutch save there by MeyeA as that Complexity piled down into this lane. A flash away from Sicko Scott will finally shut down Chuuper. He's going to go down, but it sets up a good shockwave, picks up a kill onto, looks like MeyeA, but probably picks up 2 kills on top of that with a mantra on his Q. They're going to continue pushing down into this bottom lane while Sicko Scott was away taking top tower. Flash from Bodydrop barely gets him out of that one as Sicko Scott, IKennyU joins the party, as IKennyU is going to force back the members of Complexity that still are alive. And overall, it looks like it's just going to be a 1-for-2 trade actually in favor of infinite odds.
See Pilot right now trying to take an opportunity again, get a little bit of extra farm. He might get caught out here. IKennyU in the area. GoldenGlue is there as well. Probably maybe in a little bit of trouble here. Gonna speed himself up, trying to get out.
Well, the dissonance goes down to slow, but there's the tether going out. Probably gonna have to force the command protect out. In comes Richerich, but probably goes on a rampage. That's gonna wind up taking him down, but now KennyU, he's after that bounty, but probably with the mantra on the W, he's gonna heal himself up. Flash forward from IKennyU. There goes the chain of corruption, and a shutdown comes out right before MeyeA's lantern can reach him. Probably wants to give a killing spree over to Varus.
So close. MeyeA almost was able to get in range, get another lantern down, and just pull out another clutch save. Chuuper went a little ham in that last fight, diving through pretty much the entirety of the tower and going through everyone on the side trying to make that happen. Lautemortis looks like he wants to start something up. They're trying to keep this tower alive.
Yeah, this outer tower will end up going down, but at what cost? As Richerich has to run away. No dominance. He gets hooked back in by MeyeA. Sicko Scott repels up as well. Is he going to go down? Chuuper's going to Valkyrie over, get that kill. Lautemortis already going onto Richerich. The slows come out from the Electro Harpoon. Lautemortis runs away, and the equalizer comes down for the execute right there. IKennyU gives up his life for a double kill for Chuuper, and Complexity marching across the map, turn around to tower kill in a 3-for-none trade. And looks like they might be moving towards Dragon here, Malphus. That's just respawn, and it's all Complexities.
MegaZero was just positively lovely positioning on the equalizer there. Picked up the kill and also drug it in such a way that IKennyU got slowed and made sure that he just guaranteed they were going to be able to pick up that kill on the AD carry as well. Complexity just a big heads-up play, and infinite odds. I mean, they got a little too hungry for that tower. They didn't necessarily calculate exactly how much damage Complexity could do to them and how much of a bad position they were putting themselves in. They didn't recognize what the kill potential for Complexity was. As Bodydrop's getting sped up, he wants his crescendo.
Yeah, he wants to try to get the crescendo, but there's no flash to really help it connect right there. Nor is there any real follow-up. We did have, of course, the command shockwave still available for GoldenGlue, but they weren't going to be able to land that one quite yet. Probably gets a lantern in from the Thresh Express. Going to wind up clearing out this wave for himself. Whereas Chuuper in the bottom lane, he's in an 80 carry duel with Kenyu, and as soon as Richerich pokes his head in there, he says this is not a fair fight. Winds up Valkyrying away from a potential 2v1 situation. But CompLexity, we talked about them buying wards. We talked about them having the burst potential from a mid-game Corky, and the equalizers need to be extremely good from MegaZero. They've gotten all of that. They've gotten map control and infinite odds. Like we said, they can kind of take a fight after CompLexity does, but if CompLexity's fighting them and winning first, this game is never going to go back in control of IO.
So see right now, 2-0-7 on MegaZero's Rumbles. He's trying to build in towards that Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Already picked up his double penetration items, and he's been having a pretty good time of it. Picked up a blue elixir as well as they're trying to chase this down. Young Richerich looks like he's going to be the next target.
Well, he's going to get Assault and Battery. The Lantern comes in to bring in Prowly as well, and now it's a CompLexity party. Who's going to wind up getting the kill? It's going to go to Prowly. He's going to wind up picking that one up for himself as 4 members strong in CompLexity in this top lane. Chuuper split pushing with the Trinity Force in the mid lane, and Infinite Odds, they don't exactly know where to go right now. One of their main tanks is down. Elise is still up, has the Aegis of the Legion, but I don't know if it's going to be enough defensive statistics here. CompLexity's MeyeA misses one death sentence. It's a very rare feat for him, as Sicko's got ducks through the brush to dodge that one, and CompLexity decide that, hey, we don't need to fight you under your tower. We can take your jungle, and we can siege down this mid lane that Chuuper's going to get after, once again, one of those good rotations for CompLexity's AD carry.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very, very difficult tower to defend, and because of that, we saw the side of Infinite Odds were standing super, super far back behind it, and CompLexity recognized, like, Corky can probably just go take the tower mid. He takes the tower mid and gets almost half of the inhibitor tower as well. I mean, just the Trinity Force damage from Corky at this point with a BF sword is just absolutely colossal.
Yeah, Corky's kind of set his sights on that BT that Varus has picked up and says he wants him for himself. Lautemortis coming in from the side. No ultimate available yet. Vault Breaker threw on the equalizer. Kenyu. It looked like he thought the ultimate was available, but it's not. He's going to get shut down right there. Killing spree for Chuuper. Crescendo comes across, but there's no damage anymore for the side of Infinite Odds. Hook back in on the Sona. Actually sets up a good command shockwave for GoldenGlue, but there's no team left for the damage. 4-for-0 in favor of CompLexity, and the half HP inhibitor tower is looking like a dead HP inhibitor tower.
Absolutely. CompLexity, I mean, there's every single initiation. They're the ones who are dictating the pace of this game right now. They've gotten out ahead. They're getting further and further ahead every moment. Chuuper's Corky, I mean, he's got another 1,600 gold in the inventory. He's got the Trinity Force, a BF sword, and the longsword. Typically speaking, we see Trinity Force with Sork Shoes and the Last Whisper as, like, the immediate core, and Chuuper's just like, got 1,500 gold. Yeah, I like the idea of dealing a lot of extra damage. So just picks up that BF sword right away. And man, oh man, Infinite Odds are paying for it.
Yeah, Infinite Odds, unfortunately, when you look at the gold counts, there's not much in their pockets for them to pay with right now. About a 10,000 gold advantage in the favor of CompLexity Gaming, and their lineup is looking incredibly strong right now. Lucky 7s and an unlucky 1 death for Chuuper right here at 7-1-7 for his Corky. 3-0-11 for MegaZero, so even if he's not getting the kills and carrying on Jax, he's definitely providing the supplemental DPS that his team needs to win these engagements. And even Prowly, who started out this game 1-3, has suddenly bounced back to 7-4-4 on that Karma. We called it a little bit of a later game utility pick, but you can carry with Karma too. Unfortunately, GoldenGlue missing that command shockwave. On the flip side, he secured the blue buff though, so that's on a shorter cooldown.
Yeah. I mean, that's you gotta look on the bright side of life here. But Infinite Odds, I mean, the problem is that the silver lining on that dark cloud is extremely thin. Bodydrop picking up the Oracle right now. They're trying to wrest control back away. They might find themselves on the wrong side of initiation here. MeyeA not going to land that death sentence as he gets cocooned up and has spider goo all over his face.
Yeah, and around this Baron Pit area, Infinite Odds was warning, but they are not going to stick around for very long with CompLexity hot on their heels. There is one outer tower left, and that's in this top lane. Sicko Scott has to repel to get away. He's going to wind up going back into Lautemortis after he goes in, but the Assault and Battery is down, and Kenyu is gone. In comes the Equalizer. Bodydrop's going to drop down low, as is Sicko Scott. They're flashing after GoldenGlue. The Vault Breaker goes down. Now Richerich, the only member of Infinite Odds left alive. Dominus is ticking, but his life is dwindling. There is the ace. There is a surrender, and CompLexity finishes it with a 5-0 fight in style as Infinite Odds taps out at the 21.5-minute mark.
Once again,